We're going to start off with a special person who is very well known to all of us. And one of the benefits of living in the Philadelphia area is that I am just across the Delaware River and down the turnpike a little bit from our next speaker. A former guest of honor here, you know him from his books on the lives of people like Raymond, Neff, Leroy, S.S. Adams, Ed Patterson, Calvert, and many others. He's here to talk about the subject of his latest book, Goebel, the Man with the Magical Mind. And after his lecture, he'll interview Goebel and some friends, and he'll give you all an opportunity to ask these fine gentlemen any types of questions you want about touring with a Big Illusion show. And so it gives me distinct pleasure to introduce Bill Rauscher.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for having me. The English novelist, playwright, and broadcaster J.B. Priestley once stated, quote, "The first fall of snow is not only an event, it is a magical event. You go to bed in one kind of a world and wake up in another, quite different. And if this is not enchantment, then where is it to be found?" Well, in the late 1970s and in the 1980s, it could be found in the stage production of the Goebel Magical Review. It was a kind of enchantment, which means something that charms or delights, that Blackstone and others gave audiences. It was the kind of enchantment that mesmerized children and entertained audiences in what is called, for want of a better term, the classical magic show, and now no longer seen across the land traveling on stages by new generations. Now, I saw the show in 1970 with Clint Rydell, who greatly admired Goebel. It was colorful, it had lots of assistants and animals, great music, mystery, humor, and consisted of dancers and helpers, upwards to over 38 people, some 60 crates, and over 200 costumes. In the opening scene, when the magician Goebel appeared in white tie and tails, his gloves changed into a dove, his cane vanished, a bowl of fire appeared, his wand made things happen, and a rabbit appeared in a top hat. From then on, the show took off in a kaleidoscope of color, illusions in one segment after another. I mention the rabbit in the hat because today it is contemporary in some quarters to produce such animals, say as a boa constrictor. Now, they are exotic, they are awesome and primitive, but not enchanting. A bunny rabbit, a duck, a dove, a baby goat, or even a little chicken is enchanting. To me, anyway, not a boa constrictor. Modern dress for a magician today has changed radically. Because times change, we know that. It can be anything from leather pants with metal studs, rings through one's nose, piercings, tattoos, black nail polish, sometimes off-color language, and illusions that really gross you out. They are less colorful. In the area of humor, it can become buffoonery, where I seem to notice at times that magic is totally secondary without any mystery whatsoever. It is not enchanting or very colorful. One could say that the wand has been retired and that non-mystery has replaced our image of magic. Here, I want you to see a segment for a moment, when I say so, from the Goebel show that is impressive, not including everything else that happened in this 2.5 hour show. Goebel says that he doubts if all this would work today, but it did then, and it was indeed a magic show in what we call the grand manner. This little segment is called Down on the Farm. Later on, I hope during the interview and the questions, we can show one more segment, which is the modern cabinet, or as he called it, bundles at that time. That was first performed by Survey Leroy and received a tremendous response when George appeared at the Abbott Convention years ago. The illusion has not been seen for years, and of course, at that time, and it ended the first half of the show. That was in 1971. Although most of the show is on the DVD, along with interviews and other items, along with the book, Goebel, the Man with the Magical Mind. But just view for a moment this one sampler at this time. So I'll ask our man to show that to you because I think it's interesting.
Let's go down the farm. Okay, boys and girls, go!
a lot of animals. Well, for many years, George Goebel vanished from the magic scene. In later life, and in his youth, he concentrated on his business as owner of the A.T. Jones and Sons Costume Company in Baltimore. The company, which is a national icon, costumes, operas, musicals, and stage shows with an inventory of some 300,000 costumes.